Done. All right. Okay, guys. Well, happy Friday. If you didn't guess it, it's Friday. Wait, other way. Friday the 13th. Um, I actually don't know if it's like a superstition thing, but I mean, I know it's Friday the 13th. That's a big deal. But anyways, thank you for coming into the call today. Sorry, I had a phone call right before this, so I'm a little frazzled. But today, as promised, we are going to be going over a very real scenario, and I had texted in our group chat, and I said, I said here, we're going to be covering the most fundamental skill we should all have mastered at some point, giving a concise market update to your, and I just use sphere of influence, it could be to anybody, giving a concise market update regardless of city or area. So the scenario is I live out on the east side, so Glendora, Azusa, San Dimas area. But you could very well have a client that is out in, I don't know, Santa Clarita, and you have no idea what the market is like in Santa Clarita. So the client says, what is the market like in Santa Clarita? Now, I guess my first question for the group would be, um, how do we answer that now? I'll give you a second to unmute yourself and answer. I'm going to close my office door real quick because I'm kind of loud. So how do we currently answer that question?
Sometimes I'm having a conversation only with one of my friends. And when I'm having a conversation in the middle of a conversation, there's a thing that says you are being recorded. If from their thoughts.
Zepi, are you talking to us?
Actually, I'm at work, so I'm just listening. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm gonna mute myself.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mute you just to be safe. Do we have an answer, guys? How are we answering that question? I think it's a pretty fundamental question. Is somebody says, "Hey, what's the Long Beach market like?" What do you say to that? Or if you're doing a good job as a buyer's agent and you have a buyer's consultation and they tell you in advance because you asked, what markets are you interested in? And they say, well, we're interested in Long Beach. And you at least have a heads up. What do you do to prepare yourself for that meeting?
Um, and you look at the current homes on the market and look at like the average price and the average days they've stayed on the market to kind of like, I guess base your analysis on that.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. It's a little, how can I say? It's a little work intensive, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But it is definitely an option, and it is a good option. Um,
Okay.
so going along with that, though, Zara, thank you so much for that because that's the direction we're going. Is you want to know what it's like inventory. You want to know the general temperature of the market. You want to have an idea of how much people are overpaying or underpaying, and what would it look like if you could pull that report from any city, any market, any area at any point in time. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Um, so let me see. I need to minimize a bunch of stuff. It's a previous meeting. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Share. Whole desktop. Boom. All right. So, oh, Alex is coming in. Cool. Okay, so John Doe says, hey, we're interested in Long Beach. I keep saying Long Beach because I don't know of anybody that knows that market terribly well. And they say, hey, yeah, you know what, we're interested in Long Beach. And I say, okay, great. Are you guys looking? Remember, you need to do these conversations in advance. It's called pre-qualifying. Have you been pre-approved? Are you looking for a single family or a condo? Um, are you looking anywhere other than Long Beach? And they say, no, honestly, we want our own house in Long Beach. What is the market like? And you say, great, when we get together, I'm going to give you an analysis of the market. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Realtor Property Resource. And I'm going to click that. and I'm going to go to market trends, or actually, sorry, I'm going to go to research up here, research, and I'm going to go to residential market trends. Now, by the way, there's tons of stuff you can do with RPR, Realtor's Property Resource, but I'm showing you the one that you would use for this. And I'm going to say, okay, well, John said he's looking in Long Beach, California. And not only that, he said, man, sorry, my Wi-Fi is slow for some reason. He said he's looking for a single family. Because again, I did the pre-qualifying of the script, and I want us to take a look at the difference. So, and I don't know the answer. So let's see. If it is a single family, a condo, townhouse, or apartment, they are going for 99.4% of the list price. And there is 2.75 months of inventory. And the median days on the market is 16 days. Okay. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go to single family and see if it changes things. Apply to all the charts. Don't ask me again. Apply to all the charts. Aha. So well, actually, let me ask. So we need to analyze this. What does this tell me? And we're going to use this as just a test sample here. So if it's a condo, it's 3.79 months of inventory, and it's going at 97.5% of the list price, and the median days on market is 21 days. When I switch to single family home, what's the difference in the markets? I'll show you again. 2.11 months of inventory for single family, 100.2% of list price, 2 weeks on the market. If I go to condos, 3.79 months of inventory, 97.5% of list price, and 3 weeks on the market. What are we seeing here? What can I immediately say, just without script, off the cuff? What can I say about the market when it's the difference between single family homes and condos?
Can you show single family home again?
Sure.
So they're flying off the market?
The speed of the
It's
market.
hot.
Yeah. I used to, and I still do, I use temperature. I always say temperature. People tend to
Okay.
understand the temperature concept. So we know that about 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. So meaning, and you would see this little cursor slide over towards balanced. If it's more than 7 months of inventory, now we're in a buyer's market. We haven't been in a buyer's market for quite a while. Um, and then you actually have this little cursor, even if you don't understand the terminologies, just look at the cursor here. So when it is a single family, it is on this side of seller's market. It's this far on the scale past seller's market. When I go to condo, it's on this side of seller's market, pretty close to nearing a balanced market. So immediately I'm going to be able to say, hey, John, so let me just give you the quick rundown temperature of the market. When you're looking at a condo versus a single family homes are flying off the market. It is a hot market for single family homes. Condos is cooling down a little bit. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do, we're going to go back, we're going to go down here and we're going to say for a condo, we'll say for the last 2 years, um, condos percent change 0.2% in property value. When it's a single family home, 4.5%. So again, what can I surmise from here? What can I tell John already? Remember, I'm his fiduciary, okay? So what can I tell him? Oh, that's a 12-month change anyways. I can tell him, hey, John, that's actually a great area that you're choosing because every 12 months, or I shouldn't say every 12 months, over the last 12 months, property values appreciated by 4.5%. That is fantastic. Whereas if John were to say, yeah, we're kind of, the condos seem like it'd be a better bet, man. We can pay a little under list price. It's not as hot of a market. I would say that you're absolutely right, John. 100% you're correct. And the appreciation isn't quite there for condos. To be honest, it actually did not appreciate. It depreciated just slightly. Single family homes appreciated. Okay. And you can see the appreciation go climb up, climb up, climb up, climb up. And again, you'll see it to an extent with condos, I'm sure, but it's not quite as steep. Okay. So let's keep going. New listings. So with single family homes, we have over the last year 196 properties, median list price 1.1. Sorry, ignore that. Active listings. So these are new listings, active listings, new pendings. Some of these I don't want you to get too lost in, okay? The point of this call today is, what do I tell somebody that asks a question about a market that I don't know anything about? I can tell you right now, if I were to meet with this fake John person, I could sit down with him and already walk him through Long Beach. I can say, hey, look, you got two options. Option one is you can enter this market a little bit easier with a condo and understand it's not going to appreciate as much as you would want. The other side is you can fight to get into a single family home in Long Beach and just know that when you get into that home has already appreciated by 4.5%, and it's most likely going to keep appreciating like that. I could already talk to you a little bit about that. I can tell you that 2 weeks is how long properties last in Long Beach. If single family homes, I could tell you that if it's listed at 758, there's a good chance it's going to go under contract and close at 758. And if somebody were to say, well, I heard the market's cooling, I heard that the market's going the other direction, I would say, great, take a look at this data. What is the data telling us? This isn't my opinion. This is what's happened over the last year. Okay. So now, what do we say? What if we want to post this? The point of this call was, you want to send this out to your SOI, your sphere of influence. Okay. And maybe for whatever reason, man, everybody is just all over me today. Go away. What if for whatever reason I have a good chunk of my database is in Long Beach? I don't know why, but they are. Okay, well, let's create a script. Because here's another thing. Maybe English isn't your first language. Maybe you're not super comfortable with the jargon of real estate, even if English is your first language. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a script. And we're going to click right here. And I'm going to say that I want the tone to be professional, but it could be engaging, friendly, casual, conversational. I always like engaging, okay? Choose the audience. I'm going to do buyers and sellers, but look at all these options you have. You can target buyers. You can target only sellers, first-time home buyers, move-up buyers. That's my favorite client. Investors, probably my least favorite client. Luxury home sellers, exciting, but that's a tough market to back into. Downsizing sellers, great market as well. So let's go buyers and sellers because it's for your general database. You don't know what it is they're necessarily looking for. You want to just provide value. And then here's what I want to do. Am I going to do a video script? Probably not. I don't think I'm going to do a video script for this because, again, I want to email blast this out to my database. So I'm going to do a social campaign, and I'll tell you why this is going to be very similar. So here are it gave me 6 different hooks, okay? Looking to buy or sell in Long Beach, California, the Perez real estate team has got you covered with only 2.11 months into inventory available. Now is the perfect time to make your move. Did you know that the sold to list price percentage is 101% in Long Beach? That already is gonna be a head turner because most people in your database are hearing on Facebook and whatever that the market's cooling, the market's crashing, all this stuff, and then enter you by saying, well, hey, did you actually know that the sold to list price percentage is 101%? Said another way, a home on average is going over list price still. Okay. Now, let's say we didn't want to use this because it's got 6 different posts that you can use. What if I want to just analyze the metrics? Because, Gabe, I don't understand that well what I'm looking at here. So I would say analyze the metrics is your best bet. So this is a whole, I would say this is the email, okay? But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, oh, I could have just done this. Copy the text, content, copy to clipboard. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, I am sending out a Long Beach market update to my database. I have below a sample email. Please adjust this to sound more like me and friendly, since these are people I already know. Also, please remove any decimal points. For example, round 2.1122. So notice this very specific instructions I said. I'm sending out a Long Beach market update to my database. I have below a sample email. Please adjust this to sound more like me and friendly, since these are people I already know. So I kind of gave it the context, and I also gave it a very specific thing. Please remove any unnecessary decimal points, because sometimes your clients do not want to see 2.114. Okay, so, and then I gave it the sample, and this is what it gave me. Long Beach, oh, and because I said email, it even gave me a subject line, which I think is kind of cool. Long Beach Market Snapshot June update. You may need to adjust this. This isn't June. This is probably May. But hey, friends, quick check-in with some fresh Long Beach market stats you'll want to know, especially if you're thinking about buying, selling, or just curious about what's happening. Inventory. We got about 2 months in inventory right now. That means if no, and I love this, guys. I didn't know this was going to happen, but look at how it explains what 2 months of inventory is. That means if no new homes hit the market, everyone would sell in just 2 months. That's still considered a seller's market. Low supply, high demand. Year over year change in inventory down just a hair, but basically holding steady. And it tells you what that means. Fewer new listings and strong demand are keeping things tight. Median days on market. Homes are selling fast, just 14 days on average. If you see something you love, don't wait. Sold to list price. On average, homes are selling for 1% above asking price. Sellers are in a strong position and buyers should be ready to come in competitive. And then median sold price. And then here it is, the bottom line. If you're a seller, this is a great time to list. If you're a buyer, preparation and speed are key. Either way, I'm here to help you navigate it all with strategy and confidence. So I think we should rephrase what this whole thing was about, because what I would probably do is, if this John person comes up and says, hey, we're thinking about Long Beach. We've never been. I know you sell real estate all around California and Southern California. What can you tell us about Long Beach? I would say, word for word, I would say, oh man, crazy timing. I actually send out market updates on cities, and I can send you one for Long Beach. And then I cook this up and I email it to John. And he now has everything that I want him to know, including expectations. Here's an expectation. Median days on market. Homes are selling fast, just 14 days. If you see something you love, don't wait. On average, homes are selling for 1% above. Um, Buyers should be ready to come in competitive. Bottom line, if you're a seller, it's a great time. If you're a buyer, preparation and speed are key. So notice that this is immediately debunking what all of John's aunts and uncles and cousins and friends are telling him. Because they're probably telling John, well, I saw on Fox News or on ABC or wherever that the market's crashing and sellers are not getting what they want. You send him a market update that absolutely debunks all of that. And now the expectation is, shoot, despite what the news is saying, I need to come in competitive. If I love it, I need to not wait. I need to be here with some speed and preparation if I'm going to get a home. it totally changes the perspective. Because if you meet with John and you don't set that tone, now he's going to see a house that he likes and it'll be day 12 or day 10. And he's like, I'll give it a couple more months. That's not going to work. And you need to set that expectation right here. Okay. So to recap, somebody says they're interested in a location, not in a home, in a location, which I would argue is much more difficult. You're going to go to Realtor's property resource. You're going to type in the city that this person says they want. In a perfect world, you know what type of real estate they're looking for. Now, if they don't give you anything, they're like, just the market. Okay, great. I'm going to change this to single family, condo, townhouse, and apartment. I'm going to give it everything. And now it did change things a little bit, but notice it's still very competitive. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to market trends. This is what I want to see. I'm going to go to create script. And what we've learned is I still want to engage in buyers and sellers. And I'm actually going to go to analyze metrics. I think that's going to be my workflow, to be honest. I'm going to take this, all of what it just said, and I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to put it in Chat GPT and say, hey, this is what I'm doing with this. I want you to make it sound like me. It's an email to people I already know and remove unnecessary decimal points. I want a market update. I don't want a statistical analysis that someone has to really, really dive into. I just want it to be straightforward. It'll pump out a market update. You probably need to change the month because I don't think it's June. Let me see. This is May. Oh, there you go. It's in May. So it's not, it's going to make mistakes. You always need to double check it. It's going to pump out a market update, copy paste this in an email, send it to them in advance. Say, hey, did a quick market analysis on X city. Here's what I found. Let's discuss it in person tomorrow over coffee. And just like that, you are an expert in Long Beach. We could have done this for Hesperia. We could have done it for Mojave. We could have done it for Whittier. Doesn't matter. All you need to do is change the city. Okay. Um, Whittier. Whoa. Did I spell Whittier wrong? Oh. West Covina. There we go. West Covina. Search. Here's your market update for West Covina. May. Oh, actually, we're actually interested in Burbank. Got it. Burbank, California. Perfect. There you go. 10 days on market. 102.9%. Let's actually look at single family. I bet you 103%. So guys, I mean, I just need us to understand this. What your clients are seeing is that the market is it's slowing down. The buyers have all the leverage, that the sellers are struggling. That's the news that they're seeing. You need to be the voice of truth in all of that noise because they're seeing national reports and you're looking at Burbank. And if you allow your buyer to enter the market thinking that the sellers are desperate, that no one's buying homes, that they have the upper hand, and you allow them to enter Burbank with that mindset, you are you are committing malpractice, to be honest. You are setting up your client with the incorrect information and expectations. Okay? And again, let's do the Burbank, create the script. Professional, that's fine. Analyze metrics. Look how quickly I can do this market update for somebody. I'm going to copy the text. I don't care what it says yet. Now, can you do this for another city? Type it in to the chat. Here's a rewritten version of your market update. What's happening in the market? And it's going to give you an inventory update on Burbank. It'll sneak it in. Burbank market update. What's happening right now? And let's look if they give us a bottom line. Here you go. Bottom line. Burbank's market is active, competitive, and still leaning in favor of sellers. Whether you're buying or selling, it's all about having the right strategy, and that's where I come in. So it gives them a real quick update. Okay. So what are we hearing, guys? Do we have any ahas? This is an evergreen skill, by the way. 103%. And this is where it's worth checking the work because I don't like that it said, and maybe it's the report that it gave us. 101.03. Yeah, I don't like that it put 1.03. I think that confused the program. But just know, guys, I mean, this is where you are getting paid, and I think I said this in the group chat. This is what you get paid for. You get paid to be the economist of choice. Your job is to be the expert on any city given because you have the tools to get that information. Now, if you were to ask somebody that lives in La Cañada what the market's like, they could probably answer safely, but for every one city you know, there's 100 that you don't. So get good at this skill. Okay, this is how you analyze a market trend really quickly. So if there's no questions, guys, it is 10 o'clock on the dot. I hope this was helpful. Let me stop the recording.